Okay, this is the sheep brain. This is the way we receive this specimen, and you can see that it's covered with dura mater. At the base of the sheep brain there is some little pieces of fat, so-called fatty cushions. They are extending into the orbit, and this is the structure that actually makes the eyeballs better situated in orbit. So first exercise, first step, we will need to remove the dura mater, and you can see that it's not really so hard. So it's quite soft. Then next layer it's going to be the arachnoid, which is resembles kind of spider web. So you can see it. And tightly attached to the cerebral cortex will be pia mater. So when we remove the dura mater, you can clearly observe two hemispheres and then lobes. Lobes basically reflect location and the relationship with skull. So you can recognize frontal lobe, occipital lobe, temporal lobe, and somewhere here should be central sulcus above this, you could see. And that is exactly the border between frontal lobe and parietal lobe. So, and you can see separation area between two hemispheres. This is interhemispheric fissure. Then you got transverse between cerebrum and cerebellum. Then on the base, you can see clearly on the front, this is going to be the olfactory bulbs. Those are nicely packed olfactory axons that extend to the nasal cavity. You could see size of the olfactory bulbs compared to the human olfactory bulbs. This is number 28. I believe that's olfactory bulb. So you could see the size. No wonder those animals are still able to smell predators. Then next structure, it looks like an X. This is the optic chiasm. This is the crossing of the optic nerve, cranial nerve number 2. This is where the optic tract actually splits in two, and one part goes on opposite side, the other one stays on the same side. Then you actually can see pituitary gland. See this grayish or brownish type of structure. Usually it's portrayed as this hanging structure, but not in this case. So this is going to be pituitary gland, and then you could see this structure. Again, it's about the same color, just like nerves. This is the mammillary body. Mammillary bodies are actually the lowest part of the fornix, and this is the representation of the limbic system. So practically the order: olfactory bulbs, optic chiasm, and pituitary gland, or master gland. And then next you get mammillary bodies. So that's the order, and this is what you observe on the base of the sheep brain. You could see actually the pons, cerebellum, and spinal cord. So next step, we will do a sagittal cut, and I already prepared this. And structures that you observe, right in the middle, you could see the corpus callosum. This is the junction between two hemispheres. In untouched structure, you actually can see corpus callosum. You see, this is the junction between two hemispheres. You can actually clearly see that. Then within, or should I say in the middle, you could see this. This is going to be entrance into the lateral ventricle. Usually it's guarded by tiny, this is the remnants here, tiny membrane called septum pellucidum, or shining membrane. So, and inside you have these structures. This is the choroid plexus, structures that involve epidermal cells. This is the production of cerebrospinal fluid. Okay. Then, well, you can observe, of course, lobes the same way. Mostly you can identify frontal lobe, parietal lobe. Then a round structure right beneath corpus callosum, that will be thalamus. Behind thalamus, you got, this is going to be area of epithalamus, and most important, this large structure, it's going to be called pineal gland or pineal body, famously known for production of melatonin, which regulates biological rhythm or circadian rhythm. You can see size in sheep is quite big compared to human brain. Unfortunately here, no, they don't have it here. So pineal gland. Then if you would observe thalamus, and this side, this is the pituitary gland, this area will be hypothalamus. Okay. Then brain stem, midbrain area, pons, medulla oblongata, and spinal cord. You could see that compared to the human brain, pons is better seen because it's kind of bulging structure between midbrain and medulla oblongata. In sheep brain, it actually makes some sort of double hump. So the first hump will be pons, second will be medulla oblongata. Then famously known cerebellum. And cerebellum actually covers fourth ventricle. This is the fourth ventricle. Practically it's the roof of the fourth ventricle. Famously known structures here, arbor vitae. So practically it resembles a bush or tree. Arbor vitae is actually from Latin, means tree of life. So mainly it's separation between white and gray matter. Okay. Then you actually can observe this structure. This is the aqueduct, the passage of circulating cerebrospinal fluid. So those are the main structures that you should be able to recognize. And I'm going to provide nice images so that you can watch.